Hello guys, very good morning. Welcome back once again to StudyIQ ICE English, your favorite channel, and I am your educator Praveen Mishra. Let's begin today's The Hindu analysis, that is 29th of May 2025. So top headlines for our The Hindu today, okay, from the perspective obviously of our examination, right? So here is the first news. NDA ready to form government in Manipur, says some of the MLAs. NDA as in the National Democratic Alliance, okay, consortium of few parties, okay, which has created a group. Now, they have met the governor yesterday, Governor Mr. Bhalla of Manipur yesterday, right? So, and they have provided their instinct and they have provided their information as well that they have got some majority of MLAs with them, those who are willing and those who are ready basically to create the form or to create the government once again in Manipur. So, since 2022, or basically from the beginning of 2023, what we can say here, almost 2.5 years, something like that. Manipur is, having facing some internal conflicts related to the word civil war. Though the civil war is actually not yet there, okay, but yes, some violent clashes, they have been visible, they have been seen, they have been encountered, and further, what has happened? The law and order situation totally got disrupted, and yes, the local people, the local communities, the local harmony, including the economy, totally got ruptured, right? Because of which the government was facing too much of the backlash, and yes, apart from that, too much of the criticism, not from just the domestic but global areas as well, from the global areas as well. So, considering the loopholes, considering the failure of the government, okay, on 13th of February 2025, so basically 4 months here, 4 months back from here, Biren Singh, who was leading the government of Manipur, decided to give away his shoes and now he resigned. Since then, President's rule has been imposed under Article 356 inside the state of Manipur. And now, the concern here is it the time back for Manipur to get its government? So, well, that is a matter of concern. A matter of concern, basically, which we need to deal in a very constitutional manner, in a very comprehensive manner. So, for which we have got a session today, okay, at 5:30 p.m. Guys, remember to be live, okay, on the same channel, that is StudyIQ ICE English, where we shall be discussing the proper features. Like, what is this particular term that is President's rule? What are the constitutional provisions, that is Article 356 and 365? So why Article 356 has been used here? Why Article 365 has been used here? Okay, what is the clear distinction? And what are the provisions of election? Okay, once the president rule has been imposed, then what are the provisions of elections and what happens inside a state when the president's rule has been imposed? Does it provide any impact to the economy and an impact to the fundamental rights or basically the constitutional provisions inside the state? Okay, and yes, one more thing that is to be discussed in a very comprehensive way: why there was clashes in Manipur. So we have got two very flourished communities. See, flourished doesn't always means economically flourished. Flourished doesn't always comes with the term that is, okay, I'm flourished as in, I'm having a luxurious life, some millions and billions of dollars with me. No, flourished as in, when it comes to the word flourished, we must also understand that culturally really rich. Okay, culturally rich, or custom wise very much affluent. So it's the influence of the customs basically which provides the term flourishment to the communities, right? So the two communities basically there, the Kuki and the Metis, the Kuki Zo community and the Metis community, those who have faced multiple internal clashes, okay, the multiple violent clashes within the communities themselves, because of which, okay, the incidences took some cruel turns, some wrong turns, obviously, which was also cruel in nature. And yes, the burning of the state started. So the fire has not yet been extinguished, but yes, the works they're going on. So guys, remember, stay tuned with the channel. At 5:30 p.m. sharp, we shall be discussing about this particular topic. Okay, what are the features to install or to reinstigate the government after the president's rule, and what are the features to the president's rule as well? Okay, so here we go to the next topic of discussion. Okay, it's about the global warming. Okay, well, the biggest threat to the human life, okay, the biggest threat to human life, it's not the nuclear war, it's not the world war, it's not any kind of discrimination or type of an exploitation that is happening. The biggest threat is the pollution, Okay, because of which we have got the another evil, another devil to the humankind. It is the global warming. So as what you can see, the news here is, okay, as from the perspective of the news, okay, let's see, there is 70% chance that average global warming will exceed 1.5 degrees Celsius in next just 4 years. This is the warning which is coming from the United Nations itself. So we have got a particular agency, that is UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Through this, we have got multiple protocols like, the recent one, Conference of Parties. Okay, specifically the Paris Agreement of 2015 that replaced the traditional Kyoto Protocol, right? So when we talk about the Conference of Parties or the UNFCCC, that is United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, it has totally and clearly stated that it is the duty of the states, duty of the governments to reduce the global warming level. Okay. Now, how to do that? Obviously, the only thing is to curb the pollution. Curb the pollution as in what are the types of pollution? You call it the air pollution, water pollution, land pollution, noise pollution, nuclear pollution, e-pollution, every type of pollution, as well as the pollution that is in our minds, right? That one should be also eliminated. That only we will be able to provide our duties to the state, right? So this is where United Nations has stated, and some disturbing data they have shared with us. Okay, disturbing, really disturbing, as we can see. Okay, now if we just go ahead with the statement, right, starting with the first paragraph, the UN on Wednesday stated that 70% chance, okay, is there from 2025 to 2029 that the world will be having an enhanced temperature of 1.5 degrees Celsius approx. So the planet is therefore expected to remain at historic levels of warming after the two hottest years ever recorded, that is 2023 and 2024. Remember, guys, so far the hottest years that have been recorded is 2023 and 24. 25 shall break the record once again. Now, what we have seen, no signs of respite. Okay, we have just experienced the 10 warmest years on record. It is the statement by World Meteorological Organization. Okay, the 2015 Paris Climate Accords. Okay, now the reference was directly to towards the 2015 Paris Climate Accords, which aimed to limit the global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius. Okay, and now what is once again United Nations is telling? That 1.5 degrees Celsius, okay, chances are there for the whole globe to have the enhanced level of temperature in next just 4 years, right? So the targets are calculated to the 1850 to 900 eras. Okay, remember, 2 degrees Celsius below. So from what is the point, bro? So what will be the point of comparison? So the actual temperature of the earth, which was during the time period of 1850s to 1900s, this is where 2 degrees Celsius to be kept below, right? So this is where the target is. So if the global average temperature, for example, if the global average temperature between 1850 to 1900s of the earth used to be X degrees, right? So what is the Paris Agreement saying? What is the Paris Agreement saying? It is saying that it should be X minus 2 degrees Celsius, okay, and it should be the target of each and every state, each and every government, basically, each and every country to achieve this. Because Earth is our house. Yes, okay. Earth is our house. And if this house is destroyed, where will the life go? This is not a sci-fi movie that, one planet has gone, so the people, they can sit over the ships and they can commute to some other areas. No, this is not the time, right? This is not the reality so far. So we have to protect our mother earth at any cost, because this is our home. Now, some other data that has been shared. The agency forecasts that the global mean near surface temperature for each year between 2025 and 29 will be between 1.2 degrees Celsius and 1.9 degrees Celsius above the pre-industrial average. And next, the WMO says there is 80% chance that at least 1 year, okay, at least 1 year, between 2025 and 29 will be warmer than the current warmest year on record, that is 2024. And no surprise it should be for us if the year is 2025, because what we are watching, some extra level of heat waves. Okay, see, the news that you have seen, you have also watched the video with Ankit sir, okay, that why monsoon has arrived early, right? Why monsoon has arrived early, how monsoon has arrived early, that, okay, why and how, almost the same questions here. So in 35 years, yesterday also we discussed this point, it has happened for the first time in 35 years, okay, that monsoon has arrived in India, as it has hit the southern coast of our country around 4 to 5 days from the expected time. Okay, and it has provided some huge level of showers. Okay, and yesterday also we discussed that orange alert, okay, has been issued into the states of Maharashtra, Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu, right, because they are facing huge level of showers, and these showers are expected to touch the northern plateau, the northern belt, within next 1 month as well. Right, so talking about the rain that we are about to have, okay, it is an impact that is known as La Nina this time, that is the huge level of rainfall shall have. And remember, this is not a good news. This huge level of rainfall might look very much satisfactory to the eyes, okay, but yes, it is dangerous for agriculture, and yes, as well as it is dangerous for the whole of environment and ecology, considering India right now. Okay, what we do have, the physical infrastructure from the cities of Mumbai, Chennai, Bangalore, Delhi, okay, that water logging and water clogging, they both are some serious concerns, right? So even we don't talk about on the natural grounds, we talk about not the natural or the agricultural grounds. So it is also dangerous on the physical infrastructure side, right? All thanks to the corrupt politics what we had since the ages. But yes, thankfully we are now shifting our gears, thankfully, right? Okay, so the politicians what we are watching, okay, they do not go into just absolute senseless things. Now the senses, they have now gained their position into the minds of the leaders, specifically why? Because we are into the digital age, right? So this digital age provides some sense of understanding as well as responsibility to the officers, politicians, as well as to the citizens, right? So but presently we are right now going ahead with the damage recovery. We haven't just clarified all the issues. Now the roads are not good, okay, not totally, not the roads are good, and apart from that the drainage system is also not that perfect, but yes, on the verge to become the perfect. But it shall take much much more time, around a decade or two or even more, since the present considering the present pace of growth and development. So the point here is what IMD has stated, or sorry, the WMO has stated, that we do not have such huge level of time. Within just next 4 years, 1.5 degree temperature, 1.5 degree Celsius temperature shall enhance. And this enhanced level of temperature shall for sure, disturb the weather conditions, specifically monsoon, which is the lifeline to Indian agriculture. Right? Okay. And yes, between 2025 to 29, as per the WMO and the UNO, once again, we shall be facing the air which shall be more hot than 2024 levels. So no doubt it could be 2025 as well, right? So here are some features that are needed to be discussed. The Paris Agreement, okay, specifically talking about what? The Paris Agreement. So 2015, it was signed through the United Nations Convention on Climate Change, or the Conference on Climate Change, in short COP21, okay? So where in Paris, so obviously the name Paris Agreement, so it is a legally binding international treaty. Guys, please make this thing clear. It is a legally binding international treaty. The treaty provisions are binding on the states. Now, its primary goal is to limit the global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius above the pre-industrial levels, basically talking about the time period of 1850 to 1900s. Right? Now, with efforts to limit 1.5 degrees Celsius, right, below 2 degrees, but the average maintenance, average level shall be 1.5 degree. And the exact same figure is now stated by UN, that we shall be focusing, or we shall be experiencing the average global temperature rise by 1.5 degrees Celsius. Okay, sarcasm at its best. Right. So let's see what shall be happening. And remember, guys, we talk about the climate change. Okay. So it replaced the Kyoto Protocol, the Paris Climate Conference. It replaced the Kyoto Protocol. Okay. Now, the Paris Agreement sets out a framework for countries, a legal binding framework for countries to reduce what? The greenhouse gas emissions, first of all, adapt the impacts of the climate change, and provide support. Support to whom? Developing countries in their efforts to address climate change. Okay, support to whom? Developing countries in their efforts to support climate change. Right. So basically, it is now, as per the Paris conference or COP21, it is now the duties of the developed nation to support the developing nations in their efforts to curb the climate change, right? So it should be the joint venture of the developing along with the underdeveloped nations, right? So under the Paris Agreement, each country, remember, each country, whether you are developed, developing, underdeveloped, whatever, that means you are signatory to the Paris Conference, okay, of 2015. So each country is required to submit and update their NDCs, that is nationally determined contributions, in every 5 years. Okay, so remember, like you have your targets, right? Your weekly targets, your half monthly targets or monthly targets, that within this week I must complete this many chapters, within this month I must complete that much syllabus, you know, something like this we keep. Okay, you might be having some targets in your offices as well, in your work, at your workplace as well. So you might be having some personal targets, like by this particular time I should reduce this much weight, shall, you know, gain this or lose that, etc., etc. So in that very same sense, NDCs, full form nationally determined contributions, okay, they focus on what? They focus on the country's determination and their commitments, and these commitments shall be upgraded within every 5 years. So guys, remember, NDCs every 5 years, okay. So outlining their plans for reducing greenhouse gas emissions and adapting to climate change, right? So NDCs, they are basically the pledges, okay, made by the countries to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions and to adapt, okay, such practices that reduce the pollution, okay, pollution, air, water, land, soil, okay, e-waste, nuclear waste, whatsoever. So this is what the climate change is all about. So Trump's next point, next news, Trump's offer for trade access helped avert war. Okay, so this is what the statement has come from Washington. So Trump's offer for trade access helped avert war between India and Pakistan. How can a person be more and more illogical? If you want to have the answer, show him the face, him or her the face. That please give me the idea or the reference of a person who can be as illogical as possible. Illogicalness at its best, right? That's the only image we have. Here we go. What Mr. Trump and White House has been reiterating since last around 2.5 weeks plus, right? That it's White House, it's Donald Trump, POTUS, President of the United States, which, intervened in the India-Pakistan conflict, right? And averted the big war, which could be the nuclear war as well. You say directly that it was your country which got troubled when the nuclear leak happened in the Kirana Hills. It was your airplane, okay, which was, equipped with the tools or the radar which used to capture the nuclear radiation or calculate the nuclear radiation, was found circling or hovering over the Kirana Hills, the salt range of Pakistan, right? It was your country which got to know that if the war will break out, then China will intervene, Russia will intervene, and your so-called intentions of the Liberation Day, imposing taxes and, making America great again, will vanish, because this time it shall be a war which will be, very much troubling for the whole economy. So you must admit that first thing, right? That a $30 trillion economy with $36 trillion of the internal debt, right? The youth with highest amount of jobless and the homeless people, they are there in the so-called most advanced city of this globe, so-called, once again, most advanced city of this globe, New York. See, apart from Times Square, represent other areas of New York, right? Show me the areas of Malibu. Tell me about the Mafia Raj into the city of Detroit. And tell me about the areas of Mexico you have, right? So, please, you must be understanding that it's not the era of 1900s or 2020, means something like that. It's 21st century, and it's not the American hegemony anymore, right? American hegemony would be there in Latin America, would be there in some European countries, but it's absolutely not prevalent in Asian continent. Absolutely not in India, first of all. It could be there somewhere in Asian continent, like in, Napak countries like Pakistan, Bangladesh, right? It could be there in Nepal. It could be there in, some other Southeast Asian nations, but absolutely it is not in China. Absolutely it is not in India. And yes, it is not in the Eurasian nations as well. That is, we're talking about Russia. So this is where, we need to understand that it was the trouble of America that led Pakistan not to go ahead with any kind of the further action. So ceasefire was signed between the DGMOs of the two countries. Ceasefire was signed between the DGMOs of two countries because there was the nuclear leak in Kirana, right? And the LOC was now at threat. So this LOC, if the borderline area was at threat, then obviously that could have, envisaged some greater level of conflict between the two nations. That will be for sure the official fourth war between India and Pakistan after 1965, 71, 99. It would have 2025. It would have been 2025, but thankfully it's not. Remember, 1947, 1948 war was not war. It was just a tussle or a small type of a strife or a conflict or a conflagration between the nations because of the Kashmir Valley. Okay, because of the Pakistan's hostile intention over the Kashmir Valley, to be precise, right? So it is nowhere the concept that Donald Trump, called in the external affairs ministers, the prime minister's office, or even, they had any secretariat level meeting or any type of a, high board level meeting, etc. Nothing is there. And don't know on what legal grounds, through which, what good reasons on earth this particular lunatic personality who is about to disturb the whole global trade supply chain, okay, is claiming every now and then, this time into the US Supreme Court, that it was Donald Trump, okay, which provided access for trade. Access for trade to whom? We don't understand. With America, we have got already multiple trade deals, okay? Already multiple military trade deals as well. America wants to sell India its F-35 Raptor jets. We have also purchased multiple drones from America. We are part of America's STA List 1, Strategic Trade Alliance List 1. We have signed the Basics Exchange Cooperation Agreement. We have signed the LIMO, Logistics Exchange Memorandum of Agreement. We have signed COMCASA, that is Communication Compatibility Security of Agreement. We have also signed Agreement 123, that is known as the Nuclear Civil Liability Deal with America in the year 2008. So after signing of these multiple deals, how Mr. Trump and the American administration is claiming that we opened the trade routes with whom? Are we under any sanction like Iran, Russia, or North Korea? No, we are not even under any sanction. Is there any right now supply chain disruption in India? No. It was supply chain disruption with America after the Liberation Day announcement of Donald Trump, when REEs, that is the rare earth elements, was banned by China. That compelled Mr. Trump, okay, the pro-Russian Trump, okay, to go onto the soil of Ukraine once again, sit in front of the Volodymyr Zelensky, to whom he was criticizing of not even wearing a suit, being, the representative of a country, had a deal of some $200 million to extract REEs from where? REEs from the soil of Ukraine. So please tell, that your semiconductor industry, your, the medical industry, your electric vehicle industry, your computer industry, basically, it is totally getting disrupted because of the Chinese action of disturbing or even going ahead with the total ban on the export of REEs. So that led Mr. Trump to enter Ukraine. And now with this is what we averted the war. See, it was our intention not to go ahead with the further of the war. Okay, we believe in, Vasudeva Kutumbakam, and yes, then we also believe in Veer Bhogya Vasundhara, right? So it was just, it was, and it will remain just a malified intention of Donald Trump, or just the baseless malified actions of America to claim that the war was stopped. पापा ने war नहीं रुकवाई है इनके पाकिस्तान के पापा ने, ठीक है? It's not like that, right? So it's just, we know it very well that how our Air Force Chief stated, our job is to hit the targets, not to count the body bags. As simple as that. So here we go towards the next news. Well, a news that could be, how to state, I'm trying to figure out the statement. Means to get happy of this news, to get concerned because of this news, or whatsoever. Means like, this is a type of news which I'm still in a huge level of dilemma, paradox basically, whether to share this news on a happier note or on a concerned note, what it is. Okay, so what the news, it's you only decide. Okay, so guys, please let me know into the comment section right now, the live chats. Okay, what's your perspective of this news that Assam government has decided or has framed a new policy to issue arms licenses to eligible indigenous people? Shall it be a news to be worried, or shall it be the news to be happy? Let's see the whole news first of all. The Assam cabinet has decided to issue arms licenses to eligible indigenous communities living in remote and vulnerable areas, right? The Chief Minister Hemanta Biswa Sharma insisted that the approval for granting arms licenses was aimed at building confidence among such people facing recurring threats. I really don't understand. Now, please tell me, you guys. I'm waiting for the comments. All those who are live here with me. How providing arms and ammunition will boost the confidence? This is a big question. Big question. And once again, I must state, I was really clueless how to discuss this news. Okay. Whether on a note that it's a time to be happy, or, a matter of joy, triumph, etc. I have no clue, right? So you guys can provide me this answer, that whether this statement or this action by the Assam government to provide arms license, obviously arms as in guns license, to the indigenous communities, those who were facing threat, will this be not an instigation of enhancement or enlargement of the crime rates inside the state? A state which is already being troubled a lot because of the Bangladeshi, Nepali, Myanmar and Pakistani insurgents. We don't know that the people living inside Assam, this is what the grief of Assamese people is. This is what the grief, the pain of Assamese people they are. That, majority of the lands, they have been now occupied by many of the Bangladeshi illegal migrants. Many illegal of them, right? And now they have been totally, they are still Bangladeshi. Their heart, beats for Bangladesh and now Pakistan as well, their new papa, right? So, and those Bangladeshis, they are, coming to India through all illegal means, through all illegal routes. Somehow they can enter. And apart from that, now they have the funding from the Bangladeshi intelligence as well as the Pakistani intelligence. पैसा है उनके पास, हाँ, जो भी है दे देते हैं, right? Okay. So Pakistani intelligence, they send money whatsoever they can, and now they're grabbing lands, they're grabbing the opportunities which should be, belonging to our Assamese people only. So, considering this, Considering this, if Himanta Biswa government has given such type of an order, okay, but still, how is it going to justify the level of crime that may enhance, may, I'm not saying will, that may enhance because of this, right? So what's your opinion, guys? Do tell me into the comment section, right? I'm very keen to have public opinion on such thing, right? Let's see, okay? So Assam government to issue what? Arm license to eligible indigenous people, though he hasn't justified which will be the eligible indigenous people, specific communities they will be there or not. But yes, it will be a matter of concern for sure, right? So here we go to the next topic. Nurdle spill is a wake-up call. Yesterday we had this image as well. Yesterday we had this discussion as well, that how the Liberian ship that capsized near the Kochi coast, having some containers in it which was carrying CaCA2, that is calcium carbide, along with the furnace oil and some other hazardous elements as well, including the plastics, okay, that is nurdles, will be a big trouble. So yesterday we discussed about CaCA2, and now we discussed also about the furnace oil, and now it's time for us to discuss about this term nurdles. What are these nurdles? Okay, so if we just talk about the thing here, what is mentioned, as you can also see, the micro and nanoplastics. So if you have watched or have gone through the question paper of prelims 2025 just this Sunday, so now you are aware, okay, that there was a direct question on nanoparticles or nanoplastics. That, there were three things mentioned: the cigarette butts and the polymer tires, and one more, this eyeglasses. So which of the following, which of the above they were carrying, or they do carry nanoplastics with themselves, or the plastic polymers with themselves, right? So the answer is yes. In cigarette butts we do have plastics, yes we do. Okay, in eyeglasses we do have plastics, yes we have. So apart from that, the car tires, yes we do have the plastics in the car tires as well, which is prominently made up of polymers, and polymers contains too much amount of nanoplastics. And one such nanoplastic here in front of us is the name nurdle. No, it's not needle, it's nurdle only. So what is this nurdle? It is a small plastic pellet. Okay, what is this? A small plastic pellet, as you can see, exactly looking like this. Okay, this is all what? The small plastic pellets. Okay, now used to create virtually any plastic. So from plastic bottle to automobile parts, they are widely used in plastic production basically. So they are the raw material, or the raw this feature, or we call it as preform. Okay, simply we can term it as preforms. Okay, through which any plastic material can be made. Okay, and they are obviously dangerous when they are spilled into the water bodies. Okay, call it the rivers, oceans, whatsoever. Right? So these are what? Nurdles. Now, another feature. Nurdles, they can absorb toxins. Okay? And harmful chemicals like persistent organic pollutants, POPs. Guys, POP doesn't always means plaster of Paris. Please upgrade yourself. Let's talk about from the perspective of UPSC. POP is not always plaster of Paris. Yes, it is also plaster of Paris in short. The acronym comes POP. But POP is also something else. Persistent organic pollutants. Okay. So POPs, they are what? Toxic chemicals found in the air, water, among others, and they have a profound effect on human health. They come from pesticides, some toxins, and other harmful chemicals. And since they also attract hydrophobic chemical, okay, they attract the hydrophobic chemical toxins. Okay, hydrophobic, that doesn't let the water penetrates through it. Okay, so that is known as hydrophobic. And other pollutants into their surface, they are also termed as toxic sponges. So guys, please note down, nurdles, or also the POPs, they are termed as what? Toxic sponges. Okay. So this is what the facts are we need to carry with the term nurdles. Okay. So here we go to the next news. Cabinet approves hike in MSP for Kharif crops and outlay stands at rupees 2.07 lakh crores. Okay. So good news for our farmers. Okay. Some good, wonderful news by the government towards, to the Indian farmers. So MSP has been increased. And guys, remember one thing. MSP has been increased only for the Kharif crops. Okay, for which crops? Only and only the Kharif crops for the season 2025-26. Okay, not for Rabi or any other Zaid crops or whatsoever. Okay, all the 14 Kharif crops, okay, that are inducted inside the umbrella of MSP, their, okay, prices, they have been increased. That's it, remember. Okay, and now talking about MSP. What is MSP? What are the features? So MSP is the rate at which, minimum support price, okay, it is the rate at which the government purchases crops from the farmers. In your school days or basically while you are reading CSAT, so you might be aware about two terms, okay, that is CP and SP. CP as in cost price and SP as in selling price. So cost price as in the price that has been invested by the producer to produce a good or an article whatsoever. That is known as cost price. Second comes in here is the selling price, as in keeping the profit margin fair. Okay, what will be the selling price? Okay, a fair, okay, profit margin, that will be termed as selling price. So let's say I have produced an article or a particular good or any service, okay, and the production cost is something X rupees. So keeping a fair margin of profit, okay, that is not too inflationary, okay. So I might keep it like X plus 5 rupees or X plus 10 rupees whatsoever, okay, is fair. So in that way, as cost price and the selling price, they are differentiated. So here, the cost price is MSP. Okay. Now, the cost price doesn't only contains the amount of production, the amount of money spent in production, but it also actually adds the selling price. And this addition of cost price plus selling price, okay, the addition of cost price plus selling price is known as the MSP for farmers, that is the minimum support price. So it is based on what? So as you can see, on a calculation of at least, okay, that is minimum here, 1.5 times the cost of production incurred by the farmers. At least 1.5 times more. So let's say, for example, if the farmer has invested this rupees X, okay, rupees X. So what will be the MSP? MSP should be at least, that is minimum, X plus X1 by 2, okay, 1.5 price, okay. So this should be the MSP, that is what? At least 1.5 times the cost of production, okay. So if it is 100 rupees, so 1.5, that is 150 rupees, okay, should be more, that is in total 250 rupees more, okay, that is the figure MSP shall come, okay. So this is what? Kharif crops, okay, enhanced for Kharif crops as per the present news, right? Okay. So MSP, once again, it is simply the guarantee. Okay, what it is? Simply the guaranteed amount paid to farmers when the government buys their produce. Okay, and now MSP is based on the recommendation. Recommendation of what? CACP. Okay, that is Commission for Agricultural Costs and Prices. Okay, CACP, which is headed by whom? Remember, guys, CACP, it is headed by the Prime Minister, and the decision of CACP is always final. So always remember, CACP led by whom? CACP is led by the Prime Minister of India. What is full form of CACP? Commission for Agricultural Costs and Prices. They consider various factors before deciding MSP, like first of all, the yes, cost of production, then the demand and supply chain, The market price trend. What is the present market price trend? Then intercrop price parity, etc. And remember, CSEP is what? An attached office under the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Affairs, established in the year 1965. Okay, so it is exactly 60 years old office. Okay, 65 to 2025 we are in right now. So a 60-year-old office established under the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Affairs, headed by the Prime Minister of India, decides what? The MSP. And the very same CSEP, that is Committee on Committee for Agricultural Costs and Prices, has decided to enhance the MSP for Kharif crops only for the year of 2025 and 26. Okay. Now here we go to the next news, a wonderful news, news related to our brave heart soldiers, that is the defense soldiers of our country. Okay, so here we go. Here we go. Government notifies rules enabling greater jointness, command efficiency in armed forces. So what is the news? Let's discuss the news first of all. The government has notified, okay, that the rules formulated under the Inter-Services Organizations Command Act, Command Control and Discipline Act 2023, which came into effect from May 27. This significant step aims to foster the effective command and control and efficient functioning of the inter-services organizations. As per the tradition, my mic will go off in every session, I know that. I don't know why this happens, but it happens. Okay, might be some ghost around here who loves this mic and snatches, but it happens with me almost, in every session at least once or twice. So it is the second time. Let's focus. So what is that? Inter-services organizations, thereby strengthening jointness among the armed forces. This is what the Defense Ministry has stated. So guys, remember, there is a legislation that has been formulated. What is the name of the legislation? So here once again, as you can see, okay, what is the name of the legislation? Inter-services organization Command, Control and Discipline Act. So it is for the sake of joint operations being, initiated or being taken away by multiple organizations of our defense machinery. So a particular act came into year 2023, okay, which was established from May 27 this year. Okay, so what is the name? Inter-Services Organization ISO. What is the name of the bill? Inter-Services Organization Command, Control and Discipline Act 2023. Okay, remember, enacted in 2023, now applied just from 27th of May. So the bill was passed by both the houses of parliament, okay, during the monsoon session in 2023 itself. It received the assent of the president on 15th of August 2023, and the act came into force with effect from May 10, 2024, but applied recently by the government, okay, on 27th of May. Now, the Act empowers, guys, please watch about the features. The Act empowers, okay, the commanders in chief and officers in command of the ISOs, that is inter-services organizations, to exercise command and control within their judicial limit. Okay, so what this act will authorize? This act will authorize the commanders in chief of the organization or the forces to establish proper coordination, establish proper control, so that it doesn't leads into any kind of a miscommunication. That is, basically speaking, a proper synchronization is to be done if ISOs, that is inter-services organizations, are involved. So there could be multiple chiefs, multiple leaders, multiple squadrons, okay. So because of which it might happen that the directions or the orders, they might get surpassed or bypassed, or it might get miscommunicated as well. So in order to eliminate such type of miscommunication, misunderstanding, okay, and misinterpretation as well, the Inter-Services Organization Command, Control, Discipline Act 2023 came into being. Okay, so that a proper synchronization can be established, and It leads to the success of the missions always, and apart from that, which shall obviously maintain the internal security, safety, as well as the sovereignty of our country, right? So here we go to the next point. Inadequate diagnostic services is still a critical gap in cancer care in India. What is the problem? First and foremost problem is the availability of proper, what we say, equipments. Why? Because this is what, the diagnostic machine or the MRI machines, what we call, they cost all the hospitals in millions or let's say crores of rupees, right? Not every hospital in India is having the diagnostic equipments, including MRI machines and so on. And whosoever they have, they are very costly. And reason because of this, we have to, what is the reason behind this? We have to export it from countries, from European as well as some other American countries, right? So the price could be just 50 or 70 lakhs, but, exporting it will have to, the one who is exporting it, the one who is importing it, okay, the one who is buying it basically, will have to pay nearly about the amount 1 crores, 1.25 crores, etc. And now the one who has invested 1 crores to 1.25 crores on just a machine would also be wanting to get the maximum return from the machine, right? And hence the diagnostics and other tests, they become very, very expensive, right? So as we can see, some disturbing data again with us, okay? So India present at stages 3 or 4, while around 60% of the patients in the US are diagnosed in situ or at stage 1. It adds that more than 50% of the patients in India experience a delay of 3 months before seeking medical care, right? Next thing, we talk about simply the breast cancer. So India is one of the highest, India is one of the countries with highest number of breast cancer. So breast cancer, which is a treatable disease when diagnosed in its early stages. Okay, in India, the survival rate for the patients with the breast cancer is lower than in the Western countries. And the reason is late stage presentation because of the delayed tests, right? First thing. Second thing, 60% of the global population resides in Asia, which accounts for 50% of the cancer cases. How much? 50% of the cancer cases, right? And 58% of the cancer related deaths. Okay, now see the next data. India ranks third in accounting for cancer cases following China and US. Okay, the projected cancer burden in India is estimated to reach 2.08 millions by 2040, representing a 57.5% increase from 2020, right? So the problem here is that we need to sort out at the earliest possible time is the indigenously built diagnostic machines, including those MRI machines and other machines, including X-ray machines and so on, right? So that the diagnostic, not the treatment, we are not talking about the treatment for now, we are just talking about the diagnosis, so that the diagnosis becomes cheap. And hence the patients, they do get the tests at the earliest possible time, so that if the cancer is detected in the earliest possible time, so the chances to save the patient, to get the proper treatment becomes more viable, right? So here we go to the next news. India may balance lower agri products tariff for the US with quotas of MIPs. MIPs, what is this now? Minimum, okay, import price. We have discussed just 2 news back about the MSP, minimum support price, but here we have got MIP. So what is the concept here? What is the news? First of all, India may agree to lower import duties and other barriers on certain agricultural products as part of the interim trade deal being negotiated with the US. However, inflows may be largely regulated through steps such as quotas or minimum import price. Okay. So what is MIP now? Okay, so the whole news which focuses on one thing that is known as MIP. So discuss about MIP. So here we go. It is a temporary measure to provide protection to domestic farmers from predatory pricing of imports. Okay. Below this price, imports of the commodity is not allowed. So, like MSP, minimum support price, that if the government is buying the crop produce of the farmers, this much amount of money shall be minimum paid. So MIP is also similar to that. If the import is happening of any agricultural product, then minimum, okay, it should be costing this much amount. So that is what is known as MIP. And the Directorate General of Foreign Trade, okay, that is DGFT, which works under the Ministry of Commerce, frames the MIP related rules, right? So remember guys, DGFT, that is Directorate General of Foreign Trade, working under which ministry? Working under the Ministry of Commerce, frames the rules related to the exports and imports. Also MIP, that is minimum import price. Okay. So guys, this is what with regard to MIP is. Moving forward to the next news, it's Japan, talking about carbon trading. So what is the news? First of all, Japan enacts law obliging big firms to join carbon trading. So Japan has now came forward with another step, starting from the second news of the day, what we discussed about safeguarding of the planet from the evil that is known as the global warming. So now Japan has came forward to have the another step to safeguard the planet from the evil of global warming, that is providing a law which obliges, that is compels the big firms to introduce the carbon trading or join the carbon trading provisions, right? So now what is carbon trading? How do I define this term? Carbon trading. So it is a market-based mechanism which allows entities to buy and sell permits, that is known as carbon credits, okay, which allows them to emit carbon dioxide, aiming to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So it operates under an emission trading scheme that is known as cap and trade scheme, where a limit is placed on total emissions and entities can trade their allowances. And this system also incentivizes the emissions or reductions by creating a market for carbon credits. So basically how it works. Okay, so we can understand it here in simpler term. Let's say there is an industry X. Okay, this is an industry that is known as industry X, right? This industry X, on an average, okay, produces 100 units of carbon emission. Okay. So now, what will be happening? Okay, the government will ask this industry X that this 100 units of carbon emission is not allowed. And if you want to emit carbon, okay, that is up to 100 units, you will have to buy the carbon trade. Okay, you will have to buy the carbon coupon basically. Okay, so in that coupon, per coupon, okay, you can emit, let's say, 50 units. So if your average emission is 100 units, so you'll have to buy 2 coupons, right? And now this 2 coupons obviously will be charging, okay, it will be not free, right? It will be in rupees, dollars, okay, yuan, yen, whatsoever, rebel, okay, whatsoever, right? So in order to save the money, now what companies will try? Okay, the companies will try to reduce the emission, okay, in order to save the money, okay, of purchasing of the coupons, more and more coupons of carbon emission. Companies will try to reduce, they will themselves try their best to reduce their carbon emissions, right? So this is what is known as carbon trading. So I hope everything is clear, guys, with regard to carbon trading. There existing, no doubt. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, basically. Yeah, good afternoon, all of you. So, guys, no doubts, right? We can call off the session, right? So, this is what carbon trading is. We have been discussing this carbon trading. So, I hope everything is clear, right? And now, how it works, carbon trading, as we discussed, okay? So it sets on the total emission and participating entities are allocated allowances or basically the credits. Within this cap, okay, they have to emit the carbon, and they are also provided incentives if they reduce their carbon emissions, okay? So I hope guys everything is clear. There could be existing no doubt further. If in case you have any doubt, please do let me know into the comment section, and when we start the next session we shall surely take your comment into the consideration. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching, but before leaving, please remember to subscribe to the StudyIQ English channel. You know the importance of the channel in your journey of UPSC CSE. So just please hit the subscribe button and never miss an update from the channel. And apart from that, if you wish to connect with me, we can connect on 2 platforms. So on Instagram, you can search me with the username Praveen Mishra _2107. Okay. So here you can connect with me, and for any notes or PDFs, okay, of this class or any class that we have, you can connect with me on my Telegram channel, that is study_with_Praveen. So I upload my PDFs, my class notes here on this particular platform. So guys, do quickly join the Telegram channel, or for any further discussion or debate, okay, you can connect with me on my Telegram channel or my Instagram channel as well. And yes, before leaving, hit the subscribe button, okay, so that you never miss any update from the channel. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. Take care. Bye bye. Jai Hind. Jai Bharat.